Mutant World Deadlift Championships and Giants Live Strongman Open took place last night in Birmingham, and I want to start by addressing the fact that Colin Bryce wasn't there. Now, initially when I was watching the live stream, I just thought he's not there because Hathor is there, maybe that's one of his demands, but looking online after, some people are speculating that Colin has been bought out. There's people saying that they have reputable sources that know that he's been bought out, and I, for one, I like Colin Bryce from what I see on the TV. Obviously, I don't know him personally, and I know some people don't think he's the best person in the world, but considering what he's done for Strongman, he's been pushing the sport since before I was born. And I always enjoy his commentary at the Giants live shows, and he's created that. Him and Darren have created that, and I'm hoping that if he has been bought out, then we get to see him one more time. I hope he doesn't just sort of fade into the distance and nobody ever hears from him ever again, because what he's done for the sport, I believe, is more than anybody else has done. But into the Strongman, and you join me today from, well, not so sunny Portugal, but hey, we're in Portugal, we're on holiday, but we're still doing Strongman content, so subscribe purely for that, because I'm on holiday and I'm sat on a balcony recording content. But the Strongman, Hathor Bjornsson pulled 510, and honestly, it looked like a warm-up. It looked really, really easy. A lot of the other deadlifts were pretty impressive. Adam Bishop, 470, I thought that was really good. Rano Hainler didn't get the 480. Can't remember his, like, Flores, the new guy, he didn't get 480. He got 470, but he only pulled 480 like two weeks ago. So to even pull 470 again is a massive lift. But Hathor pulling 510, making it look like a warm-up rep. I think it pretty much puts the deadlift world record out of contention for nearly anybody else for probably 25, 30 years to come when he decides to put it up higher, because he has said that he wants to go 550. Whether that's possible, I'm not sure. When you're talking these weights, that sort of a jump is just absolutely ridiculous. But he looked like he could have pulled 525 last night if he wanted to, so I have no doubt that there's more there. Austin Andrade did get his redemption on the 470. He didn't fall over this time. I thought it was a good lift, and then he fell over when he put it down. I've seen a few people saying online that it wasn't a good lift, but personally, it looked pretty good to me. Evan Singleton got the 420, and Magnus for Magnus. If you've watched the live stream, Magnus for Magnus went like this, and then did this and claimed that it was giving him an up signal, but they did change it and give him the lift in the end. But because Evan went for it again, he pulled his hamstring. He said he don't think he tore it, but he had to pull out for the rest of the show because he didn't want to injure himself, because he has obviously the Brogue Invitational coming up in 2-3 months time, so he doesn't want to tear his hamstring and be out for any length of time with the current shape and current form that he is in. But that was really unfortunate, because he obviously got the lift, looked over, thought he got the down signal, what looked like a down signal, and then Magnus said it wasn't a down signal. But yeah, no, I don't think that wasn't great from Magnus for Magnuson, to be honest. But, you know, mistakes happen. People make mistakes. Anyway, my prediction for the top three was Evan winning, so obviously that ruined it. I think I had Evan winning. I want to say I had Thor in second, and I had Paddy Haynes in third. Thor actually won the entire show by quite some margin as well. So to do the deadlift world record, compete in the full show, and win the full show is one of the greatest feats of strength that anybody has ever witnessed. I did watch the full show. I watched the deadlift and then caught up on the full show last night. But obviously I'm on holiday, so I had to skip through a few pieces here and there. Bryce Johnson in second. I think I had Bryce coming in fourth. I think I remember saying in my prediction videos that Bryce will do well, but it just depends how well people recovered from the strongest man on earth, and I think we could see that with a lot of people. I personally thought when it comes to the Viking press, a lot of people, especially ones that did smoke, just looked like they had like no power left in their legs to really drive it. Eddie Williams looked really good on that though, saying that, and Bryce Johnson I think won that event with like 15 reps, I want to say. And I think I do remember saying in my prediction video that Bryce Johnson would be good at that, because he's got so much power, but it's just normally the stability at the lockout. It looked difficult for him on like the log press. So with the Viking press obviously being a fixed implement, it was easier for him to lock it out basically and stabilise it at the top. But we have Bryce Johnson finishing in second, and then Matt Bragg in third place. Now, Matt had a pretty good show, definitely stuck to the game plan. A couple of things here and there didn't quite go as he would have liked, I suppose you could say. But third place at Giants Live in a pretty stacked lineup is it's not bad at all. It's not a bad result. I think Matt's got all the potential to be one of the best strongmen in the world. I just think, and it's not his coach, because he's got MST Systems, who I personally believe is a very good coach from what I've seen. I just think there's a few things. I think he seems like the sort of guy that will do better if he's coached in person, because there's just certain things that I look at and I think you could, he's pro strongman, I'm not, but you can still look at it and think if you just improved on this area. So simple thing from last night was the power stairs. When he put it on the top, he kept his hand on and almost kept pulling it back, and he kept then having to reshuffle it to get it on the top step, and he didn't change his technique on the fly. He carried on doing that, and for the first three, and I think even the last power stair, the same thing happened. He would put it on and it would be on, and then it would bounce back and he'd have to then push it on, and it's because he was putting it on, starting to jump back but keeping his hand on, so basically pulling it back as it's bouncing, but he didn't change it on the fly. So I think if he's coached in person, somebody, a good coach like his coach, would see that and say, put it on, let go, sort of thing, if you know what I'm saying. It's speed with Matt a lot of the time, but his sandbag steeplechase was really impressive. I think a lot of people put in good performances. I just think nobody was going to be competing with Thor. His 5'10" looked. His 5'10" was probably the easiest top lift out of everybody there. Like he's probably the only person. He lifted the most, went the heaviest, broke the world record, his own world record by 5 kilos. And he's probably the only person there that didn't actually do a maximum lift, which is kind of wild to say. So he probably had the least amount of central nervous system fatigue from the biggest lift of the night, which just, that's the role genetics play, people. That's the role genetics play. And then you've got to think, he's running on that high of just beating the deadlift world record. He's got all that adrenaline in him. He's not even gone to a max effort. He felt like he had more to give, and he's like, right, let's just go do this. Let's go win this show now. And that's exactly what he did. I had Paddy Haynes coming in third, and he was half a point off the podium. And I was fuming. He was half a point off the podium. Just a couple of things. I think his Farmers is probably where he got let down. Farmers should be a decent event for him. Just wasn't moving very fast with them. I thought he'd move a lot. I thought he'd be moving a lot faster with them, and his grip's good, but if he'd picked up a couple of more points there, because that should be a good event for him, he probably underperformed a fair bit on the Farmers and overperformed on the Viking press, but didn't overperform enough to pick up the points again, if you know what I mean. But he did get 10 reps, which I think a lot of people were around that 10 rep mark. So for Paddy, who isn't known as being the biggest overhead presser, to go out, get 10 reps as the 5th event of the show, when he gets his overhead to, if he can improve his overhead over the next year, the same as he has over the past year, then he's going to be a real problem at the biggest shows, because he pulled £1,000. Yeah, his Farmers weren't the best, but he's getting there with the overhead. He won the sandbag steeplechase, I'm pretty sure he did anyway, and I think he won the power stairs as well, or he was right up there on the power. I think he did win the power stairs, and Thor was in second. So if he really brings that press up, then he's gonna be a problem at the big shows. Adam Bishop, big shout out to him. I think he pulled out in the end, but he pulled 470 as well. Pavlo Nekonechny, he pulled out. I think he tore his tricep in the warm-up because he was there ready to compete. So I think he tore something or got injured in the warm-up, which is a shame, because I was excited to see him back, as well as a lot of people were excited to see him back. But apart from that, it was a good show. I'm extremely annoyed that I wasn't there in person, but hey, I'm here in Portugal, so I can't complain too much. And when he comes to do the 550 next year, or break it again next year, then I will make sure I am front row to witness the greatest deadlift of all time. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all very soon. I'll be recording as soon as I get home, and it'll be a little bit more planned as well. See you later.